AC, how you doing? First of all, congratulations on in your career. I guess can you walk us through the decision, and when did you know, and how do you know that now is the right time?
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like it's hard to explain. It's just kind of those things when you know, you know. Um, yeah, I guess the decision. I mean, I waited to make the decision finally. Obviously after the season here, but I mean, I contemplated it last year, and I've kind of been thinking about it and trying to evaluate things, and yeah, it just seemed that it was the right time, and you know what? After doing it, and I'm very very pleased with my decision. I feel good about it.
One quick follow-up: did the injury impact it at all? Are you just hurt or not?
Not really. I mean, would it have been more ideal to finish with a nice playoff run? Yeah, but it's football. It happens. Injuries happen, and you know, it it does kind of bring to light. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to go through a career where I haven't really had major injuries, um, and it was just kind of, I guess, it was a little extra punctuation on the fact that yeah, I am going out there and sacrificing my body every week, and it was just a little punctuation on top of the decision that helped me really make it and feel good about it.
Thank you.
Ken Sterling.
Hey, Anthony, congratulations. So as you look back on this past year and the decision you made a year ago, what did you get out of that decision to come back and run through this one more time?
Yeah, I'm extremely happy that I made that decision as well. I felt like I still had more improvement to make. I still had things that I could do in the off season with the way my body felt, and I felt like I'd come back and really help this team. And for me, football's always been about the process for me. I mean, people say it, but like I really I some of my favorite times playing football was in practice and in the off season trying to improve myself. And I came back because I felt like there were things that I could improve and I could work on. And as I went through the season and as I kind of saw how the process was playing out, and I started thinking about where would I be this coming off season and what were the things that I would work on, and just not really having a clear picture of my process had a lot to do with my decision to retire as well. Just that because that's what I love about football is that process, and when I couldn't get a clear picture of what that was going to look like going forward, that was when the decision really kind of started to come to light for me.
Zach Kiefer.
AC, congrats on a heck of a run. I know you're going to miss seeing us in the locker room every day or every week.
No doubt.
You mentioned your favorite parts about football, and you were always such a technique guy. On the other end of the spectrum, what were your favorite moments on the field, and then what were any regrets that you have in the back of your mind when you walk away?
I feel, first of all, I'll answer the second one first. I feel extremely fortunate that I feel like I put everything that I had for 10 years into the game and have really no regrets. So I feel that's what has allowed me to be really at peace with this retirement, is that I'm going away and I have not a single regret that I can think of. So that has me in a real good place. I mean, there are so many moments. It's crazy because you talk about on-field moments, but like the moments that I really think about are like the little jokes in the locker room, or like, just hanging out with the guys and the relationships, are the things that really stick with me. It's like the on-field stuff was just kind of like a little icing on the cake, but the real cake, so to speak, was all the relationships and different things. It really was the process of not only getting better at football, but really building myself as a person and building relationships with awesome people.
George Bremer.
Anthony, congratulations. Obviously, you were drafted initially to protect Peyton Manning's blind side. Is it too soon to kind of look back at just what a crazy ride this was for you here in Indy?
I've kind of throughout the year, as I was, contemplating this decision, I kind of have already gone through that, looking back at what a crazy ride it had been, and how different expectations are from how things actually go, and how sometimes they're better than you think, and sometimes they're worse than you think, and sometimes they're just different than you think. And obviously, I've dreamed about playing the NFL since I was a little kid, and I said in my statement that I released that you know, it was completely different than anything I ever could have imagined. You know, it's like some of it was better, some of it was worse, and like I said, some of it was just different. It was definitely a wild ride.
Bob Kravitz.
Anthony, congratulations again. Did you reach out to Andrew during this process? Because obviously he went through it. And what are your plans besides doing absolutely nothing for a little while?
Yeah, I mean, I talk to Andrew really regularly. I mean, he and I are still very good friends. So, you know, I mean, yeah, I talked to him just saying, you know, what's it like? You know, like
Yeah.
what, you know, and just, and I've, you know, I didn't really need to do that because I've seen it. You know, I mean, I still hang out with him and see him a bunch, but yeah, I mean, I definitely leaned on him because he's been through the process. I leaned on Jack Mewhort as well. People who have been through the retirement process that they kind of could help me with insight. So they were great resources and great friends throughout the process. As for what I'm going to do now, yeah, you hit it on the head. I'm going to be chilling here for a little bit. The number one on my list is probably lose a little bit of weight just because I can now. Also get healthy. I mean, I've got this ankle. As I'm right behind my computer here, I'm looking at my casted up ankle. That's going to be nice to get that healthy and kind of get moving on the next chapter here.
Thank you, man.
Greg Doyle.
So Anthony, you're on a computer or a cell phone? What are you on?
I'm on an iPad. It's kind of somewhere in between, I guess.
Because we care about precision here. We're not all engineers, but it matters.
That's fair. Yeah, it's an iPad Pro then. If we're being completely, being as precise as possible.
I'm going to miss you, so I got to give you a little bit of grief right now. So thank you.
I would expect nothing less, Greg.
That's a quote you've given me several times. Okay, listen, this might be one of those questions, but it's wrong that you've never been in the Pro Bowl. Okay, and that's going to be part of the legacy is that this guy wrongly never made the Pro Bowl. What do you have no regrets, but is that a hole?
You know, it's really not. I've had this conversation with my dad actually a ton. You know, he's like, you should be in the Pro Bowl. You should be in the Pro Bowl. I'm like, Dad, if I finish the season and I feel good about what I put into the season and the fact that I did everything I could to do my job, that's really all I can ask. I've become a huge believer in I control what I can control. What I can control is the effort that I would put in and the preparation that I would do. And that's why I have no regrets, is because I did everything that I could do to be my best for the team. And I feel really good about taking control of what I could control and doing it to the best of my abilities. So yeah, Pro Bowls for other people's speculations. I know what I did and I know what I put into it, and I feel really good about it.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Stephen Holder.
Hey, Steve, thanks for coming on, man. Congrats. I was going to ask a version of what Bob Kravitz asked, you know, in terms of what you're going to do next. But let me ask this. I mean, we've all known you to be a guy who has like wide interest in a lot of different things. Does that excite you, just for the first time in your life, having maybe the opportunity to pursue whatever those things are since ever, really?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm really excited to kind of let my kind of creativity open up and being able to use my brain for something other than figuring out game plans. You know, I mean, it's been kind of stuck in almost like a military like process of knowing exactly what I need to do at what moment, and kind of letting things flow a little bit and seeing what I can come up with is an exciting challenge. You know, and it's going to be something that I look forward to, that I can see what this mind can do and really what's the next chapter going to be.
But just to follow up, you've never really been able to. You're never really able to turn it off. I mean, I know I've talked to you, and you say like when the season ends, you take a little break, and you're right back to it. And I know your off season is not like an off season. I mean, is that fair? Is that a fair description, just in terms of your regimen? I
mean, it has never really been turned off. So it's going to be an interesting. I can't imagine that it's really. I'm going to train probably. It's going to feel like I'm getting ready for a season just because I love the process of it, because that's just, you know, who I am. And I'm still going to be doing a lot of the same stuff I did in the off season, but it's going to be weird not preparing for something. And, you know, the off season was a lot of the times, well, some of my favorite times, not because it's like, oh, I get to rest from the season, but because it was like, okay, I need to do this today to get a little bit better because this is going to translate to the season in this way. And those little moments are some things that I am going to miss, is those little breakthroughs that I would have in the off season during my training where I'm like, oh, I can't wait to take this to the field.
Jim Aiello.
Hey, Anthony, congratulations. Just a couple questions for you. Was the first was when you did get hurt, did you immediately jump into like rehab and say, to come back next year? Or was it, okay, now this is time to kind of process my thoughts and see where I'm feeling about for next year?
When I got hurt, my first thought was, how quickly can I get back onto the field? And then once, some time passed since I had gotten injured and my ankle still was not giving me any type of indication that it was going to be ready to get back on the field. Then it went into, okay, I'm going to be getting surgery. And then it became, all right, I need to prepare for what my decision is going to be. And then when I made the decision to retire, that was kind of the whole process there. But yeah, when I first got injured, my first thought was, how quickly can I get back on the field to get ready for playoffs?
And the other question I had was what was the conversation like with Frank or Chris? And did they try to talk you into staying another year?
Yeah, it was kind of like, hey, we would love to try to talk you into staying another year, but I went to them with conviction and let them know that I was finished, and they were both extremely happy for me. It was fantastic conversations with everybody that I had in the organization, who were very proud of me for being able to go out on my own terms and go out still playing at a high level, and they were really happy for me, and that really made me feel good. These people care about me as a person, not just as what am I bringing to the organization in terms of a job.
Thanks, Anthony. Congrats again.
Thank you.
Mike Wells.
Hey, AC, I'm gonna miss you acting like you didn't really want to talk to us in the locker room when we know you enjoyed chatting with us on a regular basis.
I must be a heck of an actor, huh, Mike?
Hey, when you went through this process, did you spend a couple of days going back and forth saying maybe I should try one more, or once you put it in your head, say, hey, I'm ready to retire, I'm done?
Well, yeah, like I said, the process started a long time ago. Like I was still considering it last year, am I going to come back? Am I not? The process, it was, this decision has been, I have gone back and forth and thought through all different scenarios and why am I doing it? And what is it going to feel like? And ultimately, yeah, it was a long process to figure out what I really wanted to do. And ultimately, I think the amount of work that I put into the decision is what makes me feel so good about knowing that it's the right decision.
And then I wanted to ask you, Frank made a mention earlier this week that there's a possibility Quentin could be the next left tackle. Have you talked to him about what it's like to play that position on a regular basis and just not on a few snaps to let you get your knee checked out?
Oh yeah. We've talked about it, and if that's what happens, I'm gonna tell you right now, he's gonna do a nice job. he's got all the skills to do it, and I think he had a lot of fun. He would go out there even before it was ever a possibility that he was playing left tackle. He would sometimes go out there and scout team and play it. He'd come up to me and be like, hey, look at my set. Look at my set. What do you think? What do you think? And I'm like, you know what? Honestly, it's pretty good. I was like, surprisingly, it's actually really good. But yeah, he knows what comes with it out there. There's a lot of space you got to deal with. There's a lot of different things. So if that does come to fruition, I bet we'll end up having a lot of conversations about technical stuff. But it was definitely fun to see when I went out in that Raiders game to see him go out there and do such a good job at that position. It was pretty cool.
I appreciate it, AC. Hey, best of luck in everything.
Thank you.
Joel Erickson.
You mentioned you're kind of excited to lose a little bit of weight. Was it hard for you to keep weight on?
Oh yeah. You should see. Actually, like I've been, I would get my calorie numbers that I would need for daily and my protein, carbs, and fats, and I was keeping track of everything. I would have to split my breakfast into like 2 to 3 different breakfasts just because like getting that amount of calories in me was just uncomfortable. And like my my wife was telling me that she's like, yeah, I can't wait to see your relationship with food change, because my relationship with food has been I need to eat to keep weight on. Now it's like I get to eat when I'm hungry, which is nice.
Ken Bone.
AC, congrats. Echo what everyone else says, and thanks for being so candid over the years. Judging by what you just said, describing maybe a Joe Wright's potential diet here, I probably know your answer to this, but is this a possible Jared Veldheer situation where you're retired, but you might have that itch, or do you think this is done?
Yeah, I'm gonna be done here. It's I made the decision. I'm gonna be sticking to it.
Wish TV.
Hey, C, congrats again. We're gonna backtrack a little bit to that Andrew Luck comment, and I love that you still hang out with him and talk to him. But when you say you lean on him, watching him go out a little early, did that play into your decision and at all?
No, I mean this decision was, 100% my own, and it was a different situation than his, obviously. So it was just more leaning on him for what's it going to be like, after you retire. What is life like?
Larry Overton.
AC, looking back through the many Matt Bowen photo galleries of your career in Indianapolis, one thing that stands out is all of the different community things that you did. The Humane Society stands out, all of them, with kids, especially. I don't think there's anyone who had as much enthusiasm at the Riley Christmas caroling as you did. How much did those experiences impact you? How valuable were those over the course of your career? How meaningful?
Yeah, I mean, it puts things in perspective. I think the experiences at Riley were some of the best ones. Just being able to impact kids, and it would always bring me back to when I was a kid and how I would look at NFL players, and just sometimes you get so caught up in like I said, in the process, you don't really take time to look and be like, I can have an impact on people. So every time that I'd get that opportunity, it was very exciting, and seeing some of the smiles on kids' faces, and really some of those Riley caroling events. Those are Kiefer asked me about the moments earlier. I think those are some of the moments that'll last a lifetime for me.
Congratulations. Enjoy the time with Charles.
Thank you. I will.
Phil B.
Hey, cheers, AC. The wife makes me watch cooking shows. Why do I think that we could have an Anthony Castonzo cooking show sometime? You love recipes. You love meatballs, right?
And I love eating. That's for sure.
I think I know the answer to this. Whether it's on your own practice field or in the games, who's the toughest guy you had to block?
Yeah, I've answered this question a few times, and it's still Dwight Freeney. Oh man, I swear that's one of the first things I thought about when I kind of looked back at my career. I'm like, if you would have told me after training camp my rookie year that I was going to have a 10-year career, I'd have laughed in your face. I'd be like, I can't block anybody in the NFL because Dwight Freeney did that to me. So yeah, it's still Dwight to this day.
Thanks, man. Congrats, dude.
Thank you.
Taylor Tannenbaum.
Congrats, AC. I know you spoke a little bit about how you critiqued Q's game and his stances and whatnot. I know you want to explore all the different things you might be interested creatively, but is there any future that you thought about in football, maybe coaching, or is football maybe really going to take a back burner in your life, or it's nothing you've considered just yet?
I've actually talked to Ed Dodds a little bit about because they would kind of send you things like, what do you think of this player you played against, and I would have, I took a lot of time and I would send them, our personnel guys, pretty detailed descriptions of what I thought of different players. And he's like, what, if you ever have any idea of getting into the personnel department, just let me know. And I'm like, what, I like watching football film, and I can tell you what I think of players. And so I can maybe get into that in the future, but nothing in the immediate future. I'm ready to take a little break from football. I've been playing nonstop every year for 25 years. I'm ready to take a little bit of a break.
All right, we got two more left. Mike Chappell.
Yeah, you mentioned Freeney, and if I'm not mistaken, when you first walked in 2011, can you have imagined sitting here? I mean, 10 years later, 150 some games, or were you just trying to survive?
I was just trying to survive. I was just trying to take my entire career was taking one day, one snap at a time. Like, it's just, all right, what do I need to do on this next play to get my job done? What do I need to do on this next play to get my job done? What do I need to do in this next workout to get a little bit better? It was just, you just had to live in doing just, what am I going to do on the next play for my entire career? And it was pretty cool as soon as I made the decision and I said, you know what, I'm going to retire, it was like I took a big, deep breath and was able to say, you know what, I'm pretty proud of what I've done in 10 years. And it was pretty cool to immediately gain that perspective and no longer have to think about, okay, what's the next thing I need to do to get prepared for the next thing, and to actually be able to put everything in perspective and look back on it and be really proud of myself.
Thanks again, AC.
And last question, Bob Kravitz.
Oh, this better be good if it's the last one.
Yeah, hey, this is the last question of my entire career. This better be good.
Oh, crap. What, AC, what does it mean to you to have played your entire career in one place, which is something that not a lot of guys get to do?
You know, it's not just playing in one place, it's playing in Indianapolis and playing for the Colts. I mean, I said in my statement that I truly believe the Colts is the best organization in all of sports, and I believe that. I mean, you hear about things from people who come from different places. I've never seen anywhere else, so I don't know. But what I do know is that I don't think that my career would have been as successful as it is, or as long as it was, if I didn't get drafted to a place like Indianapolis that cares about its players, that really gives people an opportunity to. Yeah, sorry, I was getting another call on here.
Okay.
That that gives people an opportunity just to be themselves and appreciates people who work. And it's the same mentality in the city, you know, just appreciating that blue collar mentality, people who come to work every day. And I felt really embraced by the city and came to love it a lot.